One down, four to go. We now know that Oklahoma has added one transfer portal piece as the tweet that we all saw this morning. And I've been following it all day long, so much so that I think I know the exact time. Was it 9:36 a.m.? It was 9:36 a.m. Patty Gasso tweeted out "Go Boomer," and everyone was excited on a Friday morning because we all knew that OU had just added its first transfer portal piece. Welcome in on this Friday night. I see several of you already in here. Drop some comments here. Let's have some fun. Let's talk a little softball, but we'll talk about the transfer portal, OU's newest edition, and the fact that in 2028, Olympic softball is going to be in Oklahoma City. Can you believe it? And I got a very bold take as to what's going to happen in 2028 when that Olympic softball is here in OKC. I'm super excited about that. But yeah, this was the tweet this morning, which this looks a whole lot better than staring at my face. But the Go Boomer tweet, 9:36 a.m., 410,000 views. Jeez, nice job, Patty. That's how much attention OU softball has. I think I took that photo like 3 hours ago. That might get in the millions. Big deal. And I know a lot of people initially were, come on, please, let it be Nyjah Kennedy. Let it be Nyjah Kennedy. It was never going to be Nyjah Kennedy. And not to say that they're not going to get Nyjah Kennedy. I still think that they're in the lead along with a lot of other people, but that process is going to take some time, and that process might take a couple of weeks. But you got to like what you got today. Isabella Emerling tweeted out, 5:30, 5:45. So excited for this chapter. Boomer Sooner at OU softball. Isabella Emerling is the first edition for OU via the transfer portal. And I'm just going to say this. Appreciate this, guys. It's not Nyjah Kennedy. But that's okay. Like, now's not the time for Nyjah Kennedy. You are always going to need a catcher in this transfer portal class. That was always going to be the case. After losing Kinsey Hansen, after losing Riley Ludlam, you really needed to bring in a catcher with some legitimate Division I, some good experience, a good player that's had experience behind the plate. And you might have some young players who can really step up and be good at that spot, but Isabella Emerling, I think, is exactly what you were looking for. Just completed her redshirt sophomore year, and here are some of the numbers for you. She started all 43 games that she appeared in for North Carolina last year. She led the team in home runs a year ago, and actually she was sixth all-time in UNC history in home runs. I know North Carolina is not looked at as a college softball powerhouse or anything like that, but the sixth most home runs in program history is pretty good. And Isabella Emerling had 14 home runs last year. She also had 53 RBIs, which also led the team, and that was tied for fifth most all time. So if you want to look at it this way, look at it like, let me present it to you from this angle. You just added North Carolina's best player. You just added North Carolina's best hitter. And you just added North Carolina's best hitter after one of the best single seasons by a North Carolina position player ever, arguably. I mean, she's sixth all-time in UNC history in home runs and fifth all-time in RBIs. And again, I understand that North Carolina is not some powerhouse, but you've gotten other players before who aren't necessarily from college softball powerhouses and come in right away and be a good player for you. So that's my big takeaway right now. Isabella Emerling, it's a heck of a get. That's a player that has a lot of experience, high-level experience, a really good hitter. And here's the thing that you really have to take into account when you read some of these numbers. A 323 average last year, 14 home runs, 53 RBIs. Well, we've all been watching softball for a pretty long time. We know how it works. It's the same thing in baseball. When you're the best hitter on the team, you tend to get different pitches than the other hitters in the order, right? Especially when you're by far and away the best hitter. And I don't know the up and downs of North Carolina's lineup, but judging by the numbers, she was the best hitter on the team. You just get pitched differently than all the other players on the team because they don't want you, the best player, to beat them. And really the main point here is, okay, those are good numbers by Isabella Emerling last year. 323, 14 home runs, 53 RBIs. But what are those numbers? What type of hitter is she when she's not clearly the best hitter in the lineup and she's getting some pitches with other players around her like she'll have on next year's team? Just something to think about there. Like, those numbers are good on their own, and that'd be a fantastic year next year for Isabella Emerling. But with other good players around you in the order, you tend to get better pitches because a lot of time when you're the best player in the order, pitch away from you, you don't get good pitches to hit. So I'm excited about this one. Not that she's guaranteed a starting spot. She's going to have to come in like everyone else, and I'm sure fight like crazy to get in the order every single day and then to keep that spot. But this is a good get that has a lot of experience. Threw out 9 runners last year. And like I said, they were always going to take a catcher. They were always going to take a catcher with some experience. And this is what we're talking about with Isabella Emerling. I would guess that doesn't mean a second catcher. I think you probably have 4 spots left, scholarship spots left in the portal. And I know that we've talked about Wyckoff from Texas Tech, but apparently, like OU liked Isabella Emerling better, or at least they were able to get Isabella Emerling. So I'm sitting here on a Friday night, patiently awaiting to see who else they add via the portal. And I do hear that there's some visitors in this weekend. We'll see if the visitor makes it in this weekend or not. But there will be some visitors in this weekend, and the ball's really, really rolling right now. Really rolling on OU softball transfer portal recruiting. Thank you for catching it at the end of the rush. Literally like 5:59. 5:59. I don't know if that was you that texted that in or who that was, but thank you. I literally, hey, have a good weekend. Oh, you got a transfer portal. And then immediately like, okay, I'm doing a YouTube live tonight. That's cool. Fun. Do YouTube live on a Friday night. Brian's here as always. Boomer. Killer addition to our team. I like that. The longer Kennedy stalls, the more money she will get. Maybe. Brian's lining up here. We need an experienced catcher in a big way. Agree. Jason Kennedy, yes, catcher is clutch. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you can be anything other than really happy here. Like, you got North Carolina's best hitter and one of like a hitter that just had one of the best single seasons in North Carolina history. Like, yeah, I think and that's the only thing that I worried about. And not that it's a real concern. It's just, I mean, everyone's so focused on Nyjah Kennedy, or at least I've been doing a lot of content this week on Nyjah Kennedy. I appreciate you guys watching that, liking it, everything else. That's really appreciated. But it's this biggest story going on right now with OU in the portal, but there's other things going on as well. Like, they need other position players. They need a shortstop. They need more utility help. They need an outfielder. They need more bats, and they're going to do that. So though Nyjah Kennedy is what I think people want to hear about the most, we've got to give these other players their due because they're really good players as well. Really good players as well. She sounds like a keeper, says Jimmy. It's a good way to look at it. And she's got the whole profile changed and everything. Like, look at the profile pic up there in the left-hand corner. She's already the national championships on the right side. Is that 4? Maybe there's a 5th that sneaks back there. Big fan of that. Big fan of that for sure. Yeah. Really excited about Isabella Emerling. And looks like you guys are too. That's cool. Jason and Kinsey will be there as a student assistant coach rep. Hey, that's a great point. And Jason, thank you for including that. Because I don't know if I fall victim to this. I don't think that I ever take Kinsey Hansen's or Tiare Jennings' presence for granted, and what Carly Keeney's back as well. But you're just, at least I'm just so focused on what the roster is going to look like next year, the SEC, everything else, that it's so true. It's so true. Young catchers, returning catchers. I did the all-time OU team, and I think Kinsey Hansen's the best catcher in OU softball history. I don't know if she's the best catcher in college softball history. There's been some really good ones. But to have that experience and to have that bulldog mentality, like I tend to think that players take on the personality of their head coach. And that's why OU's been so good in clutch moments in recent years. But I don't mind these catchers hanging around Kinsey Hansen and the dog that she was throughout her entire career. You know, like if in any way, like that can kind of rub off on the rest of the team and the rest of the catchers, like I am down for that. I want Kinsey Hansen as much as possible, and to be able to learn under her, like that's as good as it gets. And the relatability that Kinsey is going to have with players this age and with some of the pitchers in the circle. You know, I mean, Kinsey Hansen's caught Kirsten Deal quite a bit. She's caught Peyton Monticelli. Like, she knows these pitchers. So and that's a great point, Jason. I really want to highlight that. Don't take that for granted, who you have coming back as student assistants. Like Fale of you, incredible. She had a great career at OU, and I think that she's had maybe more of an impact than we realized, even with the team last year. But to immediately have 3 players who won that national championship last year is I think it's really, really important for sure. OU Keith says big gets. Very much. You're very well. Oh, you text that in. Thank you. Thank you very much with that. Brian says incoming class is loaded with defense. Yeah, what is this? What is this incoming class not loaded with? And on my drive home, I kind of had a content idea thought is I see so many comments from the live shows that or just kind of the pre-recorded shows after. Have you not seen the freshman class? Have you not seen what we have coming in? I have seen, yes, I have seen what they have coming in. And at some point over the course of the next couple of weeks, and going to try to do this soon, got some other videos coming out next week. I'm going to try to really highlight this freshman class because we all know that it's really good. I don't need to sit here and tell you over a 15-minute video how good this incoming freshman class is, but to get a little bit more in depth and tell you just why they're so good, where each individual player can contribute immediately, and what the real strengths of each player are. And it's exciting to think about the true possibility of not only each individual player, but what that class could be. You know, maybe that's we're going to remember this senior class forever. For as long as we're playing OU softball, for as long as we're playing college softball, we're always going to remember that senior class. And it is lofty expectations. And in no way am I putting those expectations on this freshman class. There just seems to be a pretty popular thought that they could do something special. Now, that's a different kind of special, what this senior class did, but they've got everything in them to do something really, really special around here. So I'm excited. Kinsey's the best Sooner of all time. I don't know if you guys want to fight Brian on that one, but that's his take on a Friday night. Look, there's about 15 players that you could say, and it'd be really hard for me to argue. So, I mean, Kinsey Hansen is one of those. If I think she's the greatest catcher of all time, I think that she probably has to be in that mix. But man, I mean, this is just a great way to start a Friday, is it not? There's just something about that tweet that just gets you like, let's go. Okay, Patty Gasso's tweeting. Here we go. Patty Gasso's letting us know we got a new player in. I love that. That got me going on a Friday afternoon for sure. I'm sure it did you guys as well. Steven says this is a great softball team, Oklahoma Sooners. Well said, Steven. This is a great softball team, Oklahoma Sooners, 100%. And only getting better, right? Only getting better. Okay, so outside of Isabella Emerling, which again, 5'10", Martinez, California. So another California girl on the team. She'll fit right in with what's been happening for several years now. Bats right, throws right. So right-hander, again, just completed her redshirt sophomore year, started all 43 games that she appeared in last year. Number one on the team in home runs, 6th all-time in North Carolina history last season with those 14 bombs. Best hitter on the team. Led the team in home runs, led the team in RBIs, threw out 9 runners last year. So I think you're getting a good defensive catcher that can really hit and someone that can help you out right away. Is Isabella Emerling a player that's going to start game one? And she's going to start every single game and carry you throughout the regular season? I mean, no. I think that we've seen that you need more than just one catcher on a team. It's a long season. It's a really long season. And Isabella Emerling, I'm sure, will start several games next year, but she won't be the only one that starts. Look at Kinsey Hansen. Brian's saying that she's the greatest Sooner of all time. How many years did Kinsey Hansen start every single game at catcher? Was there ever a season? And Kinsey ran into some bad luck at times with injuries, but injuries certainly happen at catcher, and you need more than one. You need more than one to get through the season. Nemo, do you think OU has a home field advantage when the Olympics come? Oh my gosh. Guys, that story today did so much for me. I mean, it really did. And I said I have a prediction about the Olympics. So here we go. 2028, OU is going to play Japan in the gold medal game. USA, Japan, maybe we're all there at Hall of Fame Stadium, Devon Park, watching that game. Tiare Jennings is going to hit a home run in the top of the first inning against Japan. I mean, I'm just telling you. I got to wait 4 years to see if that comes true or not. But Tiare Jennings is going to start the gold medal game in the first inning, just like she did game one of the Texas Championship Series. She's going to hit a bomb. And it's going to be pretty clear that USA, it may be mostly OU players, who knows, that USA is going to win the gold medal game and take home gold in OKC. That's going to be so cool. And I live in Oklahoma City. And that's just so awesome for the city. I can't wait for that. I think it's massive for the state, just everything. And how about this? Like, there's so many elements to this that I love. But to the, well, we might need to move around the Women's College World Series crowd. How's that take looking right now? Because the state of California that used to dominate this sport, they didn't have a stadium that could house an event like this. They had to come all the way to Oklahoma City, nowhere else, nowhere else. They had to come to Oklahoma City to play the Olympics. They couldn't play it in LA or the surrounding areas. And softball's big out in California. Heck, Isabella Emerling, who we're talking about tonight, comes from the state of California. There's a lot of really good players there. But they couldn't house that thing in the state of California, so they had to move it there. So to all the people that say we need to move this into a different facility, tell the Olympics that, because the Olympics said, this is a no-brainer. We have to move it to this facility. It's by far and away the best. Yes, thank you. That's what we've all been trying to tell everyone forever. It's the best facility. You're going to rob these athletes and playing in front of the best stadium, the best crowd, the most fans, all of that. It was just great. And though I think Chiara is going to hit a first-round home run in the gold medal game, what if Patty Gasso? What if Patty Gasso's the coach for Team USA? And what if Mike White's the head coach of, I don't know, New Zealand, whatever. I mean, I don't know how good New Zealand's softball team is. But what if somehow Patty Gasso beat Mike White in the Olympics? How amazing would that be? Already beaten him in a couple of championship series. Maybe beat him in another championship series soon. I wouldn't count that out. Beating Mike White in the Olympics. Oh, my gosh. Like, I've got 4 years to wait on this thing, and I'm just praying. I'm praying somehow Mike White is involved in this thing and Patty Gasso's in the other dugout and she beats him again. To hear him complain about the home field advantage USA has, and he'd probably throw his players under the bus like he did his Texas team a couple of weeks ago in the championship series. I mean, listen to this guy.
Even though some people don't think I'm very respectful, I am very respectful in my own way.
I mean, come on. How can you not dislike that guy? Seriously.
Even though some people don't think I'm very respectful, I am very respectful in my own way.
That's my kind of Olympics right there. That's all I want to happen in 2028 is that OU and USA, they go ahead and they beat Mike White in that, which it is an interesting conversation. We did this on the radio show today. What's the over-under on OU players that could be on Team USA? Olympics in general, I think that you could really expand that number. It was Nicole Mez playing for Mexico recently. So like 2.5, I think, is the over-under that I set. Jada Coleman's going to have a chance. Tiari Jennings is going to have a chance. Brian Kinsey Hansen, I think, will have a chance. Jocelyn Allo will have a chance. Ricketts maybe has. I know that's 4 years from now. Maybe Ricketts has a chance. Hey, maybe some on this OU team this year will have a chance to play in the Olympics. I think absolutely. Maybe 2.5 is way too low, but there will be an OU presence on Team USA. I don't doubt that for 1 second, for sure. Michael Kinsey inside the park home run freshman year against Washington. Yeah, I think we have a little debate going on right now. Brian got sparked in the comments. Who provided more memories than Kinsey? I mean, you got a point. If you want to go off that, I mean, that's fair. The walk-off, game one of Loves, the walk-off last game of Marita Hines. She closed the old stadium and opened up the new stadium in style. I mean, that just those two plays alone are insane. Hard to say she's the best Sooner ever, but I can say she and Jessica Schultz would be my two deep at catcher. Yeah, Lane, when I made that all-time list, it was down to those two. And really there's like 3-4 catchers, but it was between Jessica Schultz and down to Kinsey Hansen. Jessica Schultz, who won a national championship as a player and a coach. Nemo says the Japanese are going to complain about the home field advantage. I'm sure people within the states will complain about it once again. Who knows? Robert says maybe Mike White could coach New Zealand Olympic softball team in the gold medal game against the U.S. and complain it's unfair advantage of the game being Oklahoma City. I mean, does anyone doubt that he might do that? I mean, it is Mike White that we're talking about here. Like, I think that there's a realistic scenario where that could be the case. Bring on the Kiwis. See, are we not all getting pumped up about this potential matchup already? Like, let's go. Let's set this up, Olympic Committee. We all know what we want to see. Ratings for that game would be insane. Ratings for that game would absolutely be insane. It'd be fun. Sydney will play for Mexico. Yeah, that's yeah. hmm So you'll have a lot of Sooners represented in the Olympics, and that's cool. And that's one of those bucket list sports items for me. Like I love softball. Clearly, I'm sitting here on a Friday night talking softball with you guys, which is so much fun. But I've never been to the Olympics. Were they in Atlanta in '96? I think didn't go to that, and going to see softball Olympics. And you've got another event around here as well. But just to say that you saw an Olympic event, whatever it is, would be really cool for sure. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. I got to get out of here. I got to pack and head to Destin actually for a family vacation. But I got a lot of really cool videos out for y'all coming up in the coming days. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon. And let's go. Let's beat the Kiwis in the Olympics. Let's get it going. I'm already excited about it. Appreciate you guys as always.